Thanks for checking out another clip of the Cashflow Contractor. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. Click subscribe wherever you get your podcast. We've talked about it. Works in progress. It matters. It changes the way that you view your business. It gets you off of the roller coaster financials. What is it? Can you just give us a really clear way of understanding it? And then let's dive into each aspect of how you approach a WIP schedule.
Yeah. So I tell everybody that the WIP schedule is the most complex accounting piece in the construction industry. I've had controllers left and right that don't understand it, that are making six figures. So as a business owner, I don't expect you to understand it. What the WIP schedule is, and you have to have an accurate WIP schedule. So, a WIP schedule in very basic form is your contracts, your cost, and your projected cost. So if I'm expecting to hit 30% gross profit, then hopefully that job hits 30% gross profit. 99% of the time it doesn't.
Right.
So
reality,
it doesn't. It could be because of, weather, it can be because of material price fluctuations, but understanding why you did not hit your margins, your marks, your targets is knowledge in itself. So really, I don't want to get in the nuts and bolts together, but this is one of our deliverables every month is we put a WIP schedule together and we dissect it and explain it to the business owner. So we'll dissect it in a manner where we're looking at profit margins and dollars by month, by job, but also we're able to dissect it by job type, who's the project manager. So there's different ways that we are able to dissect it. And then we already have set flags of, hey, we need to talk about this project. So we'll already dissect and do all the research of the WIP schedule and tell them what's going wrong with the WIP schedule. And then the business owner kind of has to explain it. And then then a light bulb goes in, off when the business owner has to explain it. And then, it could be, hey, these jobs we ran over on hours and let's just call it, I don't know what you want to call it. Let's just say, hey, we installed generators. I'm just making up an example. And all of a sudden we're not hitting our margins on generators, or we'll just go back to the concrete. My main client, I wasn't making money. Like he didn't know that. So knowledge is powerful. And we were able to take that knowledge and he was able to make his company more profitable. So it's the full circle of the WIP schedule, and almost nobody gets the full circle. They'll get pieces of it. And everybody says, I got a WIP schedule. I know a WIP schedule, but do they understand the full circle? And I would say 95% don't. And I believe I've heard you guys mention that you've never seen an accurate construction financials either. So
yeah. I mean, that's my joke, but it's also mostly true. The other thing that I've noticed about WIP is it's a comparison of what you're doing, what you've actually billed. People have either over invoiced or under invoiced. Well, that inflates your profit or inflates your loss because you don't know what's right. I mean, use it that way. And Khalil, Aaron, we've got to tell you got to go back and listen to one of our episodes with a guy named Todd Hagopian.
Okay.
Because our listeners and we have listeners that have called me and said, oh my God, he knows profitability. He's manufacturing, but he knows the profitability by customer and SKU. And he has, just exactly what you said. Your best customer is costing you money. Well, in what sense are they your best customer? Well, I can't tell them I'm going to raise my price. I said, oh, okay. So you're going to drive over there with a pickup load of money and just keep handing it to them. You got to do it. And that clarity of numbers and a guy explaining it to him said, this isn't a choice. You have to do it. Love it.
Yeah. So I want to really help people understand and even help me understand, Aaron, on the WIP schedule. it sounds like what you're doing is you're marrying the financials with the operations and the project management in a sense that you have to have like it's almost like there's a silo sometimes of like the accounting department's in a silo and they're kind of doing their own thing. They're the only ones that are in the accounting software. They're the only ones that are reviewing financials. And then you have the project management or the operations side, and they're the only ones that know exactly what's happening today on the job site, that know how many hours are happening like today if we're going over. And none of that's really being communicated between the two. But essentially the WIP schedule is marrying those two. Am I accurate in saying that?
It is, but you have to take it to the next level. So,
Okay.
as I mentioned before, like this is complex. The WIP schedule is very complex. Gross profit calculations are complex. A lot of times what we do is we also sit with the project managers and review the WIP schedule, because the project managers, like you said, know what's going on with the project. So the project manager should be doing monthly projections into the WIP schedule. So we have to educate the project managers about the WIP schedule and managing the jobs from a financial standpoint. So, again, there's so many things that come from the WIP schedule that helps the company be profitable. But when you have project managers that don't even know what's your overhead rates and don't know, the gross profit margins on their jobs, how does a project manager know that they're going to make money on a job, and how does the business owner know that he's going to make money on the job? So there's definitely like some education down to the operations of help them understand the WIP schedule as well.
Okay, so let's get into that. If you're sitting down with a project manager and you're trying to train them on, hey, every month I need these things from you, or every week I need you to report these things, and you need to be keenly aware of these numbers. What are the things that they need to know?
Um, so they need to know what costs have occurred, and they need to know what cost will occur.
Okay.
So, hopefully your accounting system will tell you what costs have occurred. And then hopefully the project manager knows what additional costs the future costs are going to be.
Okay. What else do they need to, and anything more specific about costs that have occurred, like any details?
Um, I mean, if you want to go down the details, you should know like your labor, how many labor hours you're going to have, what's your cost per labor, your material, your subs, your overhead, your burden rate. These are just some of the things that the
Yeah.
project manager should know. But
And do you
but nine times out of 10, project managers don't know this because nobody told them this.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Like you're talking about all these terms, and I think these are great, but these are things that I think more of maybe the estimators thinking about. And then probably more so on the business owner or the accounting side is thinking about. Am I accurate in saying that?
I would say, I'm sure you are. Um, a lot of our clients, that the project manager is the estimator. So,
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not, okay.
and
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. We have the cost occurred. Now the cost that will occur, it's the same, a lot of the same metrics, but how do they actually track that stuff? Is that typically what it comes down to? The problem of is it's not actually being tracked regularly?
that could definitely be one of the problems. Hope hopefully I would say majority of the time it is tracked, but it might not be tracked accurately. But that's part of our onboarding process, is figuring out what's being done right and what's being done wrong. And then once we are tracking that, what reports can you pull out of the accounting software to give to the project managers? Because again, so this is another thing that I often see is the project financials are not provided to the PMs all the time. Like the PM should have, most of our clients now, PMs can push a button and know where they're at today. Like that's
Mm.
how that's how it should, in my opinion, that's how it should be. Like PM should be able to know where they're at on their projects today, every day.
I mean, kind of oversimplified, but isn't it sort of, hey, we scheduled to spend $100,000 on this whole job. We've already spent 50, which we know from our books because the invoices are in. I got 50 left, and the PM looks at it and goes, we're we're not 50% done.
Right.
No, I mean that's kind of what it is in a simplified way, right?
It is, but now you're halfway done with the job and you're like, ooh, okay,
Yeah.
PM, now we've had this conversation and there's other leading indicators that, to your example,
Yeah.
that would identify that you're behind, but like, okay, what do we need to do to change this
Right.
job to be profitable? Instead
But now
of,
that you know about it, you know that you need to ask that question, what can we do?
Right.
Instead of just blowing through it and wondering where your money went.
Thanks for checking out a clip from the Cashflow Contractor. We have full episodes where we go deep on topics that help you grow a construction business that runs without you so you can have less stress, more time, more money. Now, we've got other videos, other clips, but if you want to check out the full episode for this clip, you can click wherever our editor put it. It might be here, it might be there, it might be over my face, I don't know. But thank you for checking us out. We'd love to have you as a part of our audience. So subscribe or check out a full episode wherever you get podcasts.